having baseball feel like it was fading made it feel to me like my connection to my father, who passed away in 2008, was starting to fade, and that bothered me. That was the biggest part of it. So I wanted to try to recapture that. And since we moved to Windsor in 2000, most of our attention had been on major league games. And as a kid, I went to a lot of amateur games and different kinds of baseball, and I wanted to get back to that. For me, it was really about coming back to the game in the sense that I was rediscovering how to watch.
It happened pretty quickly. We had the idea in February sometime, and within a month there I was getting soaked, watching baseball and realizing I have 48 more games to go. And I don't think Dale was aware of this until we started writing about it, actually, that I spent most of the summer trying to watch baseball more like Dale. Like, I felt like I was a inadequate watcher of baseball because I kept noticing birds in the outfield or dogs, or I got all wrapped up in conversations around me. And, I would just miss stuff constantly because there was just so many things to watch at a baseball game. And so I kept thinking, be like Dale, be like Dale. And then toward the end, I realized, you know what, I can only watch baseball like I watch baseball, and maybe that's okay. And I think that might, and then slowly I realized, and it sounds so obvious, but everybody watches it differently.
We pretty much knew we wanted chronological order, and we knew we wanted to write about every game. But earlier than that, in the planning process, I know for me, there were a couple books in the back of my mind. One was a book by Daniel Okrent called 9 Innings, which is 300-page book about one baseball game, where he uses one game to go out on these digressions on baseball history, on how baseball is played, etc. And I have always thought about this book as the inverse of that.
I think the unknown for me, for sure, is because I felt like it really needed an arc, that it couldn't just be, here are my observations, because then I should have just typed up my notes, which were just illegible, and you owe your reader some work to make sense of it all. And so that was actually the hard part for me, to figure out what did I learn this summer, and how did that evolve. And I think quite happily for us both, the two perspectives worked really well together.
As easy it was at the beginning to just shuffle it together, then it was challenging to get them to speak to each other in a way that developed both those arcs, but also played off one another at the same time, because those both had to happen. And so I agree with Heidi that having readers say the voices work in concert with each other, that's very gratifying.
The Globe and Mail did a really nice piece on it, and they said, and I can't believe we didn't come up with this description for us. It's like Dale's the play-by-play and Heidi's the color commentator. We saw that, we're like, oh yeah, if we had known that, actually, if we figured that out way back, I think that would have helped.
Baseball has that element of time that's different. There's no clock in baseball. It's once you get 27 outs and are ahead, or a game can theoretically go on forever. It's different than the other sports, and there's time in it for talk, but also it's a sport that really rewards close attention.
I love that baseball's got this built-in time for reflection, and in some ways, to me, it's almost like reading a novel and being a reader, because you're watching events and you're watching how they shape up, and different things could happen. And so when someone comes up to bat, you're constantly thinking, okay, what are the different things that could happen here? And of course, chance is always a part of it, but there's always sort of a narrative that you're trying to figure out, like, what are they trying to do here? What's going to happen? And the ending depends on multiple factors. And I think I like it for the same reason I also like fiction. You just never quite know, and it rewards close reading and thinking about all the details. And the more you learn how to see as is the same with reading fiction, the more you see in the game. So to me,